What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Carnage. How are you, my friend? Are you back in Phoenix?
I am back in Phoenix. I had a long day of travel to get back, but I made it. And let's just say that coming to work the next day was a little bit hard. And the worst part was while I was away on vacation, I really wasn't on vacation because I worked all week.
Yeah.
So the experiment was good and bad. And I think the moral of the story is if you're gonna try to do this where you go to a place, work remote, and then live in a place, you really need to have a good work area, a workstation
Yeah.
set up for yourself. Because if you don't, it won't be as successful
Productive.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I like coming home 2 days before I have to go back to work. So if I go back to work on a Monday, I like getting back on Saturday so I have Sunday to kind of reacclimate
Okay.
and kind of get my feet back under me and get back into my routine. Because you get back to your first night back in your bed is always a magical thing. And you don't want to have to be forced to get up at 5:30 in the morning or whatever you have to get up to get to the office by a certain time.
It felt pretty good. I gotta admit, my bed felt real good last night. It felt really nice.
Oh man, that's good. So for those that didn't catch up, Jason was up in Las Vegas last week for the week on a work staycation s type thing with one of their timeshares. So a lot of fun things are going on in Vegas over the weekend. The Manny Pacquiao fight, I don't know if you saw,
I
was going on
didn't.
Saturday night, and
Okay.
WWE's SummerSlam, their second biggest show of the year, was going on at Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders Stadium, a stadium you toured last week, correct?
Yes, I did tour. We did tour that Sunday. We toured it, and it's a beautiful stadium.
It is
Uh,
a beautiful stadium.
and frankly, you better go now because once they start actually playing with people in the crowds, it's going to lose a little bit of its luster.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that's kind of what my story is about. I have some friends that attended SummerSlam on Saturday evening. Like I
Okay.
said, one of the biggest events of the World Wrestling Entertainment world. 60,000, 50, 60,000 fans in that stadium. And that's really only the third time that they've had any kind of show in that stadium to this date. They've had Garth Brooks, the Raiders and Seahawks last week, and now this. And Saturday night, I was laughing as I was scrolling through Facebook. Their Wi-Fi went down in Allegiant Stadium, so they couldn't take cashless payments. And part of the stadium tour was they kind of bragged about the big flush, right, where they had to flush the toilets at the same time to see if everything would work. Correct?
Yes.
In fact, it did not work on Saturday night. Toilets backed up.
Oh
Wi-Fi went
no.
down. They had to give away
Uh,
free food. Merchandise could not be sold for a while. So there were a lot of angry, disappointed people in the stands. I guess a good time ultimately was had by all that enjoyed the show, but the surrounding things of the evening definitely put a damper on it. So it's unfortunate. I guess the moral of the story is if you're going to brag about having to flush all your toilets at the same time to make sure it doesn't back up, don't let your sewers back up.
well, and I mean, I think that everything now is just so much on. I don't care how well you think you've planned something. The
Yeah.
shit that's going to happen is going to happen, and we're learning that both politically. We're learning that at the Raiders Stadium. I mean, it's invariable that if you can plan everything out perfect, and something's going to be missed or something's not going to work
Yeah. And,
as designed.
and I've seen that in my particular job for years now. I can plan everything down to the T, but ultimately, once you open the doors and let people in, you have to expect the unexpected and roll with whatever could happen or whatever weird requests could show up at your door. So, it's part of the game. It's part of the fun of life. But still, I feel bad, man, because people pay good money to go see that event, and then just to hear the stories and see the stories of that, it's just kind of disappointing. You know?
Yeah, and with everyone's kind of motions frayed right now, I'm sure that doesn't add to it. Like what things that you'd be patient on normally in today's environments because of COVID, it probably is like, you know what, this is driving me absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and I have noticed a lot. I've noticed this a lot, mostly because of the field I work in. People are on their last nerve, man.
Yeah.
I work in the healthcare field, and I'm not on the front line, but we deal directly with the front line, and people can emote those emotions to other people, the feelings of being fried and so forth. And Janice is in charge of our testing and vaccine site. So she consistently comes home fried from being shorthanded, overwhelmed, having to roll with the changes. So, people kind of, you absorb that. And it's hard to get excited and be happy when you have all this other stuff going on that kind of drags you down.
Well, that's so funny you say that, Scott, because I had a couple things happen to me in Las Vegas that just one of the things, I mean, we talk about all the negative, but I just want to bring up that there's also, if you look for it, there's a lot of like really positive stories out there about people doing things above and beyond to help someone in
Oh,
need.
absolutely.
And I actually had a couple experiences. So um, we went to a pizza place. My mom wanted to try out a pizza place, and so we went to this pizza place, and it's kind of like a Subway type pizza place where you basically get to go through a line like a Subway and just put
Is that
whatever you want on
Pizza
your pizza.
Uno or
Yeah, it's like it was called baked pizza or
okay, yeah, I've been to some.
pizza bake or something. Anyways,
Yeah,
you
they're a
put
little
all
bit
your stuff
famous.
on. Yeah. So you put all your stuff on. And Noreen had made her pizza. I made mine. My mom made hers. But when Noreen got her pizza, I don't know how it happened, but her pizza was not what she ordered. And
They literally make
Noreen
it right
said,
in front of you.
yeah, they make it right in front of you, but somehow, and I think what happened is that when the guy was prepping it, a to-go order was probably similar to the one that Noreen had ordered, and so the to-go order got Noreen's pizza, and Noreen got the other order's pizza.
Hmm. That
Now you
happens.
know how Noreen is. Noreen's
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, no worries. Let's. I don't care because you know what a struggle it is for those service guys,
Yeah.
service people to do that." And they said, "Well, what'd you have on your pizza?" And Noreen told her, and said, but said, "Don't worry, this is fine. This is fine." So we all take our pizzas. We're all eating our pizzas, and Noreen's having okay pizza. The manager came over and said, "Look, I feel so bad. I just made you another pizza that was to your liking. Just keep that other one, but you can take this one too."
Oh, wow.
Now he didn't have to do that
No.
after we told him not to do that. He didn't have to do that. So the next night, or the next night, we go gambling. We decided to go gambling, go to a restaurant, and kind of do that.
Yeah.
And the waitress was one of the you could just tell, single mother, mother of two, really nice personality, but you could tell she was tired because she'd worked like a double shift.
Yeah.
We gave her a $50 tip above and beyond what you would normally give for the restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, she saw the tip because it was cash on the table, and she ran after us when we left the area. She ran after us to hug us. Like, I can't believe you did that. You made my day. I can't believe that someone even cares anymore in this world. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And it's one of those things, Scott, that we just said, you know what? Because she just was, sometimes some of these servers are really shitty, but she was
Yeah.
just really nice. And you could just tell that, some of these single mothers are pretty amazing. Like they work two jobs, three jobs, yet their kids are good in school and their kids are, safe. And so we thought, you know what? We were gambling anyways. Let's do this. So we left it there for her. And she ran out of the restaurant that was in the casino to give us a hug. Like, oh my God, I
You
can't
know what,
believe you
though?
did that.
Kindness matters, though, and that's a big deal. And it goes a long way. If you pay it forward like that, how many stories do you hear anymore of, hey, whoever bought my Starbucks in front of me in the drive through today, thank you. I paid it forward and paid for the person behind me.
Yeah.
You hear things like that. That's cool, man. Like it's good to see that there are still good people in this world. And I do tend to believe that if you tune out the schmucks on social media and actually talk to the people next to you, you'll find out there's a lot more good than not good right now. But we're being led to believe that's not the case. And truly that's what's sad about this world right now.
Well, the stories that really touch me, oh my gosh, I'll start crying right now, is you hear about these workers who have to walk like 5 miles to work because they don't have a car.
Yeah.
And then the community will like put money together to buy them a used car or I just love those stories. It's like, oh my gosh, there's people there are good people out there. And, sometimes maybe it's better that we don't look at someone's politics and just look at the situation that a person's in. But when someone's trying, they're like, I'm not going to take welfare. I'll work. I just have to walk to work. So she literally would walk to work so that at the end of her shift, she could take the bus home because she didn't want to spend the extra money to go to her house. Single mother. So the community that she lived in heard about her story and then, bought her not a brand new car, but a nice car, a newer car.
Yeah.
And the woman was like speechless. She didn't even know like what to say. And it's like, I love those stories, man. They make me cry every time because, like, gosh, no one has to do anything for anybody. Yet some people, like, it's in their heart. They just know they have to do something.
Well, you're the big softy of the two of us. That's no, everyone knows that you're a whole lot softer because I do work in that field as well. So I've seen it from all different angles, and I've seen the dark side of that too. So it takes something really to warm the cockles of my heart, if you will. When all COVID first broke out, there's a lot of people in the community that were so willing to donate to the hospital as far as N95s and pay for food to have delivered to the hospital. You see the outpouring that communities do have, and it's nice because in a time where you don't know what's going to happen next and it can get very dark, a lot of people go out of their way to make sure that there are some brightness. And I think you have to take a minute to really appreciate those people, understand that they're just trying to make someone else's day. And the least you can do is just try to do the same. It doesn't have to be every day, just once a week, if possible,
Yeah. And it's also an appreciation how fortunate we are. You and me, I mean, if you really want to look at it, this whole COVID thing, yeah, I lost my job during it, but I had a job right away. So I didn't lose out on anything. I was employed right away. You're employed. We both have a very comfortable life. And the the insignificance of an extra $50 tip for us in the whole scheme of things is not a deal breaker. It's not anything. But for that person,
it's huge.
That might be the difference between a real meal for their family or just, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches per se.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, now I can buy gas for my car. I haven't been able to buy, and I have to admit that rejuvenates my soul in these tough times when I can appreciate not only helping someone, but also praising and being blessed that, Jason, you can do that. You have the freedom to do that. So it kind of, it's both. It's a replenishment of both of us, the person you're helping and yourself.
Well, it's the human spirit. I think some people just give in the holidays because they feel like it's the holiday spirit, just because that's what you do at the end of the year when it's cold out and you're supposed to be full of Christmas cheer. But to be able to do that anytime when you have the ability, when you have the means, I think it goes a long way. And I think it helps shape the world, at least your piece of the world that you live in. I don't know if it'll make a change on a global scale, but what's the old saying? Think globally, but act locally.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, like in your community, like make a difference in your community. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm with you. And I'm also learning too that in today's world, like I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the tips are always more than what a standard tip is at a restaurant, or that it seems like if you normally, before COVID, 20% was pretty normal, that 15 to 20%. But now, sometimes the tips are 40%, 50% of what our bill is.
Yeah.
Partly because we can, and partly because we know that, they were hit hard when the COVID started because a lot of the people that work in the service industry, had to shut down or had to lose their jobs because of that. And I don't know. I think that's more of a norm now than the exception. I think a lot of people overtip knowing that it helps those people.
I'll admit, when the restaurants first started opening back up, we did the same thing. You tip more, you give back more, but I also live in an area where they don't believe in this. So everything's kind of gone back to normal for the most part.
Okay.
So
so your tips have gone back to normal.
My tips locally have gone back to normal.
My tips have gone back to normal.
It's like I felt bad initially, but when I'm very much a creature of habit. I know where I eat like lunch most of the time when I rotate through those places. It's no secret that I drink beer at Chili's a lot to watch sports. And when you're seeing the same people working all the time because they're on the same routine, they're working their 40, 50 hours a week and they're getting paid pretty well because you have regulars that are there doing the same thing you are. So maybe it's just a little bit easier to kind of get back to that reality of like, I know you're not as hard luck as you might have been during the middle of this, but
got it. Have you ever given to someone, and even though in your logic is this person is like a homeless person is not going to buy themselves food or not, they're going to buy alcohol or whatever, but you make up a story that no, I saved their day, they're going to go buy food, they're going to take care of themselves?
No, I don't do that.
You don't do that at all?
I don't give to panhandlers. It's personal personal policy.
Okay.
But if they do have a dog, I am more likely to give that dog a blanket and or food.
Okay.
To me, that goes a lot further.
I see. Yeah, for the dog. Yeah, because the dog. Yeah. Do you think dogs realize that they're with the homeless person?
I don't think they care.
So you don't think that the dog says, God, of all the owners I could pick up, Wild Box Willie is not the guy I would have hoped for?
No, I don't think so. I think a dog's love, like they look at you. If you ever look at the way Ellie looks at you, she adores you.
She does.
If you had to go live in your sport track, she'd be right there with you. She would not care.
I don't know. Noreen and I talked about that. If we ever broke up and I had to live in my car again, I think Ellie would kind of look at me, look at her, look at me, look at her, and say, "Later, loser," and go with Noreen.
That's fair.
I mean, it is where food and warmth and shelter is.
But if you and Noreen chose to, or something happened, you guys had to live in a car temporarily, she would go.
Yeah.
She would be happy because she doesn't care. Home is where the heart is, and you guys are her heart.
Hey, the one thing I did learn, though, Scott, when I was homeless and I was living in my car, you always have a place for me, buddy.
A lot of us had places for you. You just lied to us and went and slept behind the movies.
Well, now, though, if I were to go in my car, first place I'd go, Kingman.
That's good because you have a lot of extra beds up here.
I'd live with you guys.
You could be our nanny.
That's right.
That would be amazing. I'm sure that would be a huge relief for Janice.
Now, do you think that people feel the same way I do, that when they do extra or above and beyond for someone, that it's a replenishment of their stresses? And
I think so.
What do you think motivates someone to do something above and beyond like that?
I think personal experience. If it pulls on the heartstrings and gives them the feels, then that goes a long way with it. I think if it's a certain time of year, like Christmas, like that makes them feel better about the holiday season, like they're helping somebody. I just think it's different for everybody.
Okay, I will say that one thing that I do look for, and maybe it could be an act, but when someone's definitely like they're genuinely trying, and they're on hard times, they show the appreciation much better than someone like, give me money, okay, thank you, and then they don't appreciate it. They just oh, okay, I got my money, cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think someone that truly appreciates it will go above and beyond to show their gratitude and try to not monetarily repay you, but find other ways to show you like that they're thankful for it and that they're going to try to pay it forward in some way, shape, or form.
I don't know about you, but the other thing I noticed too is we were on the tour for the Allegiant Stadium tour, and everyone in the group, no one asked what political party you belong to. No one asked if you have your COVID shot. Everything was joking around. Wow, we're in the Raiders locker room, or oh my God, like we had a common bond that everyone was happy, everyone was smiling, everyone was joking around with each other, complete strangers. Not one question about COVID, not one question about whether you're vaxxed or not one question about who you voted for. It was refreshing, man. Like when you put people in a happy place, all that other stuff goes away.
It does. It really does.
All that other stuff just goes away.
It's trying to keep people on track to stay in that happy place and instead of drifting back to the reality of the situation,
Well, maybe we're all yearning deep down. Maybe we're all yearning to get away from that dark place and just be back to, you know what, we're just people trying to make it in this world. Some of us, some of us have better luck than others. Some of us are more blessed than others, but all of us have a commonality of, doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. We're just trying to make it. So
No,
let's just be nice to each other.
I think you're right. I think just the idea of being kind goes a long way with a lot of people. Like I said, I think that's been lost on here. I would say the majority of Americans are kind. It's just that the stuff that they choose to follow on social media or their news sources make them unkind in the perception of other people. Does that make sense?
I think so. And I would maybe
It,
even go a step further. Some of the people that I don't necessarily agree with, I bet in their circles, people who talk positively about them get to see that kindness
yeah,
over other people that
and
don't get to see that kindness.
like I said, I've had a personal policy for a while now where you start posting political stuff online, not, like we're friends on social media, I
Yeah.
unfollow you. I don't care who you are.
Even
And
if you believe in the political
yeah,
vibe,
it's like
whatever they're saying.
I'm not on here for your political, whatever. Show me the good, man. Show me the food. Show me your pets. Show me your kids. Show me the good time you're having. Show me a funny meme. I don't give a fuck about this stuff. And you should know because you've talked about, not you, but people have talked about how you don't post political shit on social media, and it happens. And then he's like, man, I like that person. I thought that was a good person. Now I think this person's an asshole, and I can't stand this person.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's maybe not the best attitude to have toward it, but that's what happens when you have a keyboard at your fingertips where you can say what you're thinking at that moment, whether it's 100% true or not. And there's an age old saying is like the problem with the internet is not age old, but a saying that says the problem with the internet is it's allowing more people in this world not to get punched in the face for certain things that they say.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that I can see. The other thing too is that part of being good and kind to someone is you have to interact with them.
Yeah,
You have to connect with them, and social media unfortunately sometimes doesn't give us the right kind of connection to be able to look past statements like you're talking about and look past them and say, no, this person's a good person for this reason, and this reason.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
it's a fine line to walk, and like I said, it's a very difficult time anyway. So as people get worn down, you kind of I don't know, say like your true colors start to come out, but
Well,
you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at the lady who the these Karens that are out there. Most of these people, and I say Karens, but I think there's a male version of a Karen,
Chad.
Chad, whatever.
Or,
But most of these people in their normal lives do not act this imbecilic.
yeah,
And so that's why they're always so surprised when they have such a negative turn against them on social media. Like, this is not who I am. Why
yeah,
are you guys, yeah, but we saw this side of you that says it isn't who you are, but you reflected the worst of who you are.
yeah,
And unfortunately, we don't look at all the good things you do. We only look at the bad thing that defines you.
yeah. I mean, that's part of the world we live in now.
Yeah, and so that's maybe that's why I don't get on social media, so I don't be the hated person.
Yeah, I'm quickly moving in that direction too. It's just
Because I
out of the
can't
but
handle being hated, dude. I can't handle it, man.
I'm just getting tired of like I try not to say anything because I don't want to be that person that picks a fight on social media, and I try to only argue when I know I'm 100% right. But I also have to go back to some, I know I do the research on news that I question, and I don't just rely on the cable news networks. And so many people don't do that; they just rely on the cable news networks, and that adds into the anger and frustration for me because, like I said, I thought they were smart people, but apparently they can't do their own research, and it's all I can do to not say that to them on Facebook or Instagram. And when you say that, you're basically lighting a fuse on a bomb.
Yeah.
And you're about to find out who your friends really are or your friends really stand. And once you cross that bridge, man, you can't go back.
Well, the woman in Vegas, her name was Shelly. And if she was acting, which, here's the cynical side of me, right? Some people, I think, oh, you're just putting on this sob story so someone feels sorry for you, right? But I'm going to take the benefit of the doubt and say, no, she wasn't. She acted the part really well. I mean,
Yeah,
she was energetic and bubbly at work after working. I don't think she worked two jobs, but she worked a double shift because, now a lot of companies are having problems with workers staying and being
yeah.
responsible. So she was working a double shift. She was stressed about because she wanted to see her kids before they went to sleep. And if she was faking it, which is very possible, if she was faking it, she did a damn good job and deserved the extra tip. She
Well,
deserved it
at
because
that same
she
point, though,
was
you're
so
right. She deserved that tip because she at least made you believe that she was very sweet and humble and hardworking.
and she was so, like, you could tell she was so grateful. Like, oh my God, you just made my day.
Yeah,
I don't know, and we hear about those stories too. You hear about those stories about, a quiet kid in high school interacts with another kid, and I don't know, the other kid says something nice about them or hangs out with them, and then years later you find out that the quiet kid was contemplating suicide that day, and only because of the interaction, a nice interaction with someone else, did it change,
yeah,
their minds. And that happens all the time. Like this woman, she, at least for that day, she's going to say, you know what, the stars were aligned for me when they didn't have to be.
yeah.
And maybe every other customer didn't do anything, but for one brief moment, it was like, oh my gosh, they're still renewing the faith. There we go, renewing the faith in humanity.
A little bit of kindness goes a long way.
Heck yeah, brother.
Speaking of kindness, I'm very happy with this. As we wrap up the show, before we started the recording today, I got a package from Janice's parents. I don't know if you call them the in-laws or I don't know since we're not married, I don't know what you call them. Janice's parents.
Their in-laws.
In-laws. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So on YouTube at night, and I'm sure it drives Janice crazy. I watch a YouTube channel called Meat Church out of Waxahachie, Texas. And Meat Church is basically a guy that does all these cooking demonstrations using his smokers and has a whole line of spice products and whatever else. And they actually sent me his entire spice line for just to say, just for no reason, just to say thank you, or thinking of me, and I truly appreciate that. I don't know what they thank me for. I haven't done anything, but they sent me their entire spice line from the Meat Church, and I'm so excited now because there's so many that I've just been looking at, researching, and I haven't gotten myself to buy them yet because to make it worthwhile, you have to buy a certain dollar amount. And I didn't know how fast I go through these spices, but now I've got enough spices where it doesn't really matter. I've got to tear through these bad boys. So I'm very excited for that. And it was a very nice act of kindness and generosity. So I'm very appreciative of that.
It's not appropriate for you, but there's a great line from the movie Finding Forrester. The key to a woman's heart is an unexpected gift at an unexpected time.
Yeah, that's a very famous line
And so
in Carnage history too, because you use that on Noreen.
I did, but she found out that I stole it. So, plagiarism is the highest form of flattery.
That's the way of looking at it. So,
but yeah, no, that kind of gift is exactly right. It's like, I'm just doing it because I care about you, not because it's your birthday, not because it's a special anniversary. I was thinking about you here.
Exactly.
That means more than anything.
And now all I can think about is like, well, shit, I have to go buy all the different meats.
Yeah.
To put them on all the smokers and to do all of the things with them now. And I am so excited. I am here for that. So I'm excited for that. So as we wrap up the show today, if you have an act of kindness that you've witnessed or that you're very proud of, we want to hear about it. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If there's a place where our EP Tom could give an act of kindness up in Denver, he'd like to find out too. Hit him up on Twitter and Instagram at liquid_EP.
I feel better already. I'm so glad we talked about this. Because we sometimes get in some pretty dark places. So this is kind of nice, man.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to go dark these days because that's where everyone's mentality is kind of going because you're just tired and you're drained.
Exactly.
It's what happens. So no, it's cool. It's good.
All right, I guess I'll take us home. Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah, thanks for listening. Do your acts of kindness. We really appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid courage.